increased potential. I didn't win these big jobs, but me and my company is starting to be noticed by these larger firms. And then as soon as, or as recent as last November, December, where a super large firm reached out and said, hey, um, can you submit a proposal, a cost proposal?
We're in the United States in the land of opportunities. And this is a great topic for people that are wanting to find or to create those opportunities for themselves. And with me is William Brown. Yay! And we're going to be talking about businesses and entrepreneurship and all the details and everything that go around that. So a little bit about yourself, William. What is it that apparently you have a day job. We're not going to go into that a lot, but you do have a business on the side.
That's right.
So tell us a little bit about just the industry of your day job and then what your business is about.
Okay. So yeah, day job. I work in local government.
Okay.
Typically in that engineering and construction space. My side gig or business is called Plan View Drone Aerials, and essentially it's commercial photography. But I got into it when I bought a drone and said, you know what, this is a fun way to potentially make, some side money, right? Outside of my day job. So I named it Plan View Drone Aerials because of it. And just to expand or, get more opportunity, I decided to just keep the name, of course, but branch out into overall commercial photography. So, regular cameras. And of course, with the drones, because that's just always cool. Show up on site.
Oh yeah,
flying that thing over, over a site or something. So yeah, commercial photography with PVDA.
And that's really cool that you just telling us your story. You touched upon a couple of things that are really important when people are thinking about maybe creating their own business, which is, I think, number one is find something that ideation, right? You have to spend some time thinking about what you're going to do, to find something that you enjoy, that you like. So off camera, you were telling me that when you were a kid, you loved photography.
That's right.
Yeah?
Yeah. Kind of got into it. I'm not sure what inspired me to get into it. It might have been one of my aunts. There are a lot of creatives in my family.
Okay.
And, I decided one day, I don't know how to make this connection, but decided one day to buy one of those disposable cameras from like a pharmacy.
Yeah.
So I grew up in Sacramento, California. It might have been a Eckert's or a Long's drugstore.
Not even the ones that we commonly see now.
Right. Yeah. I don't even think they're around anymore. Like Rite Aid, Walgreens. Not the name drop, but yeah, went in there.
It's our podcast.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah,
we say whatever we want.
Talk about my business, It's like, yeah, perfect. I can talk any way I want, But so yeah, I grabbed a disposable camera. It was like maybe $7-8. I used my paper route money to buy it. Started clicking away with it.
Paper route. See, you were like into side gigs already.
You
were into making money.
Making money from a young age.
Exactly.
Working hard and always trying to find a way to get away from working hard. But really to control my yeses, right? So
yeah, say a little bit more about controlling your yeses. You meant what you mean by that?
Right. So, kind of that from that childhood love of photography and interest in photography, fast forward to adulthood and thinking of trying to find ways to really manage my own time and, get that full freedom with my work day. So, yeah, I looked at it like, you know what? The best way I could go about managing my own time and having freedom is to start my own company where I could say yes to what I want to say yes to. So yeah, I've started a business so I could control my yeses and also control my no's, where I could say, no, I don't want to do this job, or no, this isn't going to work. I'm completely, I'm autonomous. I'm a sole proprietor. I make all the decisions. I wear all the hats. It's a good thing and a bad thing. But yeah, I get to control all my yeses with that side gig. Okay. So at least a few hours out of the day, I can control my yeses.
So no employees up to now? It's just you, or do you have someone that helps out?
No employees. I'll use a contractor or contractors as necessary, but otherwise, the day-to-day operation that is all me.
That
That
is
is all
all
me.
you.
That is all me. All me.
And that's something that we touched upon. It's something that you have to love,
Right.
right? So photography is a hobby,
hmm
and you made it so that that hobby would generate money for you.
Correct. Correct. You're right. So yeah, and I'm glad you said that because for tax purposes, you got to make
Mhm.
sure that you're trying to generate money and you're making like honest efforts to generate money.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the IRS will call it a hobby, and
Mm.
then you're basically not a business at that point. So yeah, I did turn that or kind of segue a hobby or an interest into a business opportunity.
So it ended up being a sole proprietorship, or are you an LLC? What are you?
I'm an LLC.
You're
I'm an
LLC.
LLC. You're right.
It's better for taxes, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. There's more benefits. There's definitely more benefits, and you just look a lot more legit.
hmm
I've talked to a number of clients around Atlanta that take me seriously, and that's a beautiful thing to take something that my brainchild and say like, hey, we want to do business with you, or we're considering doing business with you. And the only way to really get that, in my opinion, or at least what makes me happy, is through that LLC, where I say that
hmm
yeah, it's not just you talking to me, like you're talking to me as a representative of my company. You know,
hmm
yeah. So LLC,
Super cool.
Mhm,
Very cool.
for sure.
How long have you had it?
I'm going on 4 years.
4 years
Yeah,
now.
4 years in April.
Okay.
Yep, 4 years
So
in
good.
April.
Now we can talk about the things that have worked, the things that have. What, for example, was your
Yeah.
biggest insecurity when starting a company of your own? What do you think was the biggest fear or insecurity
Wow.
you
That
had to
is
deal with?
that is those hard hitting questions I was
You
waiting
know
for.
what? Yeah.
Minute
I
12.
always want to know like the story behind the story.
No, you know what? That's real though. So I think the biggest insecurity is really kind of like what I shared was, yeah. Granted, it's my company.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's my company. So almost, although it's business to an extent, I'm really putting myself out there.
So was it
Exposing myself.
fear, vulnerability, that fear of being vulnerable, or
I would say that.
yeah?
Yeah, definitely the feel of being vulnerable. The fear of approaching previous clients from my day job and looking asking them for my business.
Mm-hmm.
So asking them for their business and uh, just really
So
feeling
that's funny
personal.
because if you'd worked with them previously and under the umbrella of your day job,
hmm
you're not as fearful.
Right.
You can be asking them about something about the company, and you really, at the end of the day, don't care that much if it turns out good or not. But once it's yours,
That's a whole
it
nother story.
changes everything.
It really does. It really does. Definitely don't take it, not taking it personal by any means, but
Uh-huh.
this is my brainchild and I hope it's a good idea and I want other people to believe in the same, believe that's the same thing.
But that's one thing off
Yeah.
camera. You were also explaining to me how at one point you were reading a contract
hmm
that required this type of photography. And what you ended up doing is something that is actually what the business masters or the coaches always refer to, which is find something that you like. And then from all the things that you like, maybe make a list of all the things that you like, find a way on how to solve a problem for people.
Right.
I would say that if it's in the contract, you have to have it, right? Like that was a problem that people needed to fill, a solution, needed to happen.
That's right. Yeah. It was there are contractual requirements for projects, all over across different sectors. So not just government, but also, private industry. So like commercial buildings, real estate, etc. So these are sometimes added value services is what they call it, but sometimes they're truly required within the specifications of a contract. So that was my angle. It's like, you know what? Let me try to get in with this particular client.
Right.
I was inspired by one of the companies that was already providing that service, on various contracts, and thought, you know what, I could probably make this benefit myself to an extent, right?
Of course.
Familiar with the industry, engineering background, love photography. Pretty lightweight, where it's just me. Don't have a big old staff and stuff, so feel like I could be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's obviously a need, and not just a need, but a requirement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a very big need, I would say.
Absolutely.
So that's the ideal situation, right? The ideal situation is you're filling up a void, providing a solution based on something that you like. And the other component to that is hopefully, generating enough money are you thinking, would you like for this to become your whole activity instead of having two jobs?
Yeah, definitely want to have one job.
Yeah. So definitely this is it, right?
this will be it. Yeah, this will definitely be it. So yeah, it's been a slow, arduous process.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of lessons learned over the last 4 years. But yeah, ultimately, if I could replace my day job or replace my income, that'll be ideal. That's the green light to say, okay, now I could,
Mm-hmm.
definitely build that confidence. But now I can leave and
Are there
pursue
any
that full time.
projections or any analysis that you've engaged in to know if that's going to happen? When would that happen? Not that I'm asking you when that happened,
Right.
but did you have to, study up on some metrics, analysis, or ways to figure out how to do that? How to make sure that happens and soon,
Right.
you know?
To be honest, no. There was no real like business like marketing or
Mm-hmm.
sector research
Mm-hmm.
to some extent. I'm not a business major. Just kind of feeling through it, as I
Mm-hmm.
go. Been on some business development teams in my day job, when I
Mm-hmm.
worked on the private side. So I looked at, I kind of borrowed from that experience
Mm-hmm.
and use it in my own company. The way I look at it is this: the learning and the research, and I'll say like the overall hustle and just conversations and networking, and also keeping up with some of the opportunities that are out there. Like, like I said, for me, it's either architecture, engineering, or construction projects. If I could keep up with all that stuff and find out, when these projects are going to be available for bidding, then I could put myself in a good situation. So that'll be my projection, right? It's like, all
Mm-hmm.
right, there's all this work going on
How
in
many,
Atlanta.
or maybe just say, how many of these do I need in order to, and then you'll create a process where maybe if you talk to 10, you get one,
Right.
and then you can
It's like
start
10%,
projecting.
20%.
You can
Right.
start projecting like, oh, if I get one, then I make this much amount of money, and I need to make this amount, and you
Mm-hmm.
just start, creating an idea of what needs to happen.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So yeah, that'll be a process. There's something in the works where if I get this one project, I'll probably just need maybe 2 or 3 more. And they could be like really small projects, but yeah, you're right. Exactly. So if I could increase my batting average or my
Mm-hmm.
success percentage, then I'll really be able to project. But
Mm-hmm.
it's
It's
there's a lot
getting
of
there.
opportunity. Yeah,
And you
potential.
touched upon something that is there for a lot of the in the business literature on how to start a business.
Hmm.
Is a lot of people get stuck with, do I create a very accurate business plan first where I know exactly what's going to happen? And then the actual reality is more like you kind of create that plan as you go. Because a lot of people will put the emphasis on, I have to be 100% ready to start a business. And a lot of people just kind of start it and figure out as they go.
Yeah,
Do you feel like you were the first or the second?
I'd say the second.
The
To
second.
an extent, the second. So no, there was maybe in my mind like there was a business plan. Some of the things that I did do were I wrote out my processes and my procedures, my overall workflow. Like, if I make contact with a client, from that point all the way to delivering photographs to a client or video to a client and everything in between. So I wanted to be really good at it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
time is money, and it's my
And be
time.
able to tell the client, you'll have your product within this amount of time,
Exactly,
right?
exactly. So that quality control process, that guarantee, well, I don't say guarantee, but just being able to speak with confidence that I could knock this stuff out and deliver what a client's looking for. But outside of that, it was LegalZoom. LegalZoom did it all for me. I paid them. They gave me all of the formation records and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, it was just all on me. But to start it, I went with LegalZoom, paid a little extra money, freed up time out of my schedule, and didn't have to worry about anything. So it took away that element of fear. Then it was just all me, and I'm now just kind of out there trying to make things happen. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's exactly the type of steps and processes that someone needs to think about. What do you think was the most important part that, like, if you were to recommend to someone that's starting a business, what do you think is the most important part to focus on in your opinion? You don't have to be right or wrong. It's just whatever you felt was most important
Okay.
about starting a business.
I think, most important, really, it's one, on a personal level, just having the patience and perseverance. But also, it's going to take a little bit of money. I didn't really have a business plan because I thought that this opportunity was low risk. So I wasn't buying a big old building. I wasn't going into, a restaurant business or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
So that's really risky. So for me, I looked at it like, this is a low barrier of entry. Didn't cost a whole bunch of money. Didn't cost an arm and a leg. But definitely have patience and have a little bit of cash on hand to help move things along. Because there'll still be, operational costs, whether it's software or extra telephone line or, maybe office space or, and definitely your time, your time outside of work, and just being consistent. And I think that's a whole bunch of what's most important. But yeah, there's at least like 4 or 5 of them. I think I just rambled those.
But
off.
you think consistency, patience, and having a little bit of money.
A little bit of money. And I really mean like,
but
you don't even
mostly
have to
money
big old-
for the business, not money even for your survival, not for your, do you feel like you need an extra amount of money always because of the business?
Not particularly. Well, I mean, yeah, to some extent. I guess it just really depends on the business venture. For me, I try to keep my costs low. I'm relatively frugal, so I try to run my business frugally.
So you think that the business now is self-sufficient? It doesn't need any of your income from other sources?
To here and there.
Here and there, like
yeah.
some months yes, some months no.
Some months I'm helping float the company.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is true love, right? That's when you say it's my baby.
It really is.
Because you wouldn't do that for anything else or anyone else.
No, hardly.
There'll be Luis asking you for money for his business. You'll be like, heck no.
No, brother. Sorry. But no, that's real. Yeah.
Okay. And did you feel like this is a podcast of, Mexican Americans,
sure.
Luis and I. And did you feel any insecurities, or did you feel it was a benefit to maybe be a minority and starting a business? Did you consider that at all? It wasn't something you didn't even think about?
When I established the company, when I established Plan View Drone Aerials, no, I didn't have the minority aspect in mind. It was about maybe year 2 going into year 3 when I started to look up some of the what they call DBEs, or disadvantaged business enterprise requirements of contracts. So around year 3, I found out that my business will qualify to become a DBE, disadvantaged business enterprise. And I almost don't like the name of it, disadvantaged.
Yeah,
business.
It's not good marketing for that program or whatever it is. Yeah,
right. Exactly. I mean, it's an umbrella program. But essentially what it means
feels like a disabled something, right? Disadvantage.
Right. Like disadvantage, it kind of has a, they need to work on rebranding that program.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound that appealing. But nonetheless, though, it exists, and essentially it's an umbrella of, and this is from a business perspective or, business owner perspective, not speaking, from their perspective, the DBE program perspective. All right. So when I found out that I could qualify, I started the application process, going into year 3. And that application process took about 9 months,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
what are the benefits of that program?
Oh, so benefits of that program. So once you get inside the program, you're essentially a minority business enterprise. So the name gets a little bit better. Which you're either MBE, minority business enterprise, or a women-owned enterprise. So the MBE, minority business, is either African American, Hispanic, Latin, disabled, and Native American, and maybe even veterans, and then women. So once you're in that, once you have that designation, then if you pursue a contract that has federal funds, typically, so
Mm.
like your big government contracts, they usually have federal funds in it. You know, so like your roadway projects, your bridge projects, stuff like that, they'll have federal funds usually intermingled with that within that contract, and within that contract there is a goal. So sometimes it's like 15 or 20%, where 15 or 20% of that work of that contract needs to be performed by a DBE or MBE or women-owned business.
Mm.
So these firms, these big companies, they're usually the ones that are, you know, going after the big contracts, right? And then the other, you know, for 80% of the work, then the other 20%, just using easy numbers, other 20% needs to be performed by the DBEs. So they go looking for DBEs, right?
Mm.
They look for us. They look for our companies. You provide the work. You're qualified, et cetera, et cetera. Basically, what I've done is I've increased my chances, increased my odds of,
That's another thing. It's
yeah,
another
getting business.
problem you're solving. They
Right.
need you,
Mm-hmm.
and you've made yourself visible to them.
Visible, right?
And how are the ways that you can, or that you've had to, I guess, market yourself to these kind of programs or these kind of clients that are bigger, bigger projects?
Well, you know, sometimes, so once you're in the program, you're actually listed on a statewide database, essentially. And also I'm listed on federal databases too, or my company is. As far as marketing, I don't necessarily lead with, hey, by the way, I'm a DBE, you know, try to sell the service
It
first.
wouldn't be too bad, I guess. Like, I wonder
Yeah.
if there's something
yeah.
else more that you can do than just be listed. Something that would make you stand out more.
Well, definitely updated
Or-
my website.
Or you could go visit them. Do you think that would be something that, just by the way, whenever you need a DVD, I'm right here.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Yeah, essentially, yeah, there's and of course that takes some time too. But yeah, going out and drumming up business, having that face-to-face interaction with companies that may pursue work that has federal funds in it. But also, yeah, just getting my name out there, not just my name, but my company name, and letting folks know that I am also, in addition to great services that you'll receive from PVDA, but I'm also a DBE, so that could help them accomplish or meet, or at least pursue that goal, that DBE goal. So yeah, that's not just being listed. That's kind of that passive way of getting out there. The more proactive way, yeah, absolutely. Handing out
I'm
business
just
cards.
wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to
You can
these
sit back and wait for money to
networking
come in.
networking events, right?
Networking events, absolutely.
Because at one point, your customers do need to become like your sales force, right?
Mhm.
They need to sell it for you because they're recommending you.
Sure.
Has that started happening to you where you get a lot of referral business?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, one thing that's one real estate agent that I worked with a number of times. I can't recall how he found me, but I'm glad that he did. And he's used me a number of times. So that's great. Now, what I have done is I let friends and family know because those are, potentially, recruit them and they could be, some of my biggest advocates. So friends and family, letting them know, and then of course letting my professional network know and sharing that information and not being shy about it, right? So initially, yeah, that insecurity was like, how do they know me during my day job, but will they take me and my business sense and my company serious? So really just opening up and really wanting this business to be successful. I mean, heck, I'm putting some of my own money into it, right? So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely the networking, letting friends and, like I said, friends and family know, our professional network, when it's appropriate, letting them know about some of the services that I offer, and just trying to grow it organically. I don't do any advertising. Everything is either through my website or social media sites, Instagram, for instance, and then Facebook.
Tell us
And,
about your
yeah.
Instagram. Let's just take what's it called right now? How do we find you?
I think it's pvdallc.com
Okay.
or what is it? Yeah, at pvda llc.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah, Plan V drone aerials.
So we'll see some videos there of all the projects.
Just some, a few videos, a few photographs, but really what I try to focus on was I don't know, maybe if not inspirational quotes,
Mm-hmm.
but focus on the types of services that I do provide,
Mm-hmm.
and also make a note that I'm also a DBE, so that's pinned
That's
at one of the
there.
top,
Yes.
right? So
Because
just
they
in
need
case,
you. You're providing a solution again,
a
right?
solution, right? Double, yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of like your business model, have you had to change it over the years? Have you found that what you thought was going to work, you had to change the whole process?
To an extent, it's been like this expansion. Like, okay, all right. So I've captured a number of beautiful photographs. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
toot my own horn for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful photographs all over Atlanta, all over like South America and Portugal and stuff like that, like Western Europe. So I started thinking like, well, I can't just let these photographs sit here. So what I ended up doing is branching out and putting my photos or submitting them as stock photos to Adobe. Um,
Mm.
so that way, like if you have a screensaver or something like that on your
Yeah.
on your phone or on your laptop or your desktop, um, submit it. Basically, you could find one of my photographs and use that as a screensaver. So for some reason, there's this truck stop photo that I took at a rest stop one day with my drone. Just pointed the camera straight down, took a photo. It's not impressive, but for some reason, that's my best seller.
People love it.
People love it. I don't know who's, or maybe it was one of those attorneys or something like that. Like big trucks.
Yeah.
Like were you hit by a big truck or something? Is probably being used for that.
It's
So
just, you never know.
yeah. So the most random photo you could put out there, you could probably make the most money. I don't say
Mm-hmm.
most money. You're not going to get rich off of it, but it definitely strokes the ego just a little bit. Um,
Yeah, of course.
so that, and also a couple of other photography sites. Um, if you have a Samsung TV or some of the smart TVs, there's a channel called Loop,
Mm-hmm.
and Loop plays music and displays art.
Yes.
So
Yes.
they've accepted some of my photographs into their portfolio.
Oh, wow.
One is called Places That I've Never Been or Places That I Want to Go, something like that. And then a couple of other segments that they have. So my photographs have been included in that. So trying to
Mm-hmm.
find a way, if can't make a little bit of change off of it, at least that exposure as to
Mm-hmm.
become that credible photographer.
Right. And you're
Yeah.
exposing your creativity, the things that you like doing anyway. So,
That's-
a lot of us expose a lot of things on Instagram. We make zero money out of it. A lot of people expose their body all the time, right? These girls in bikinis and stuff and making zero money.
Right. Not complaining. I'll drop a like. It's free.
No, but
But
when
yeah,
you
for
were
real.
a young, or even a kid or a young man, did you ever think you were going to be a business owner? Had you been raised with that mentality, or were you more the traditional employee kind of mindset?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was always, you definitely need to have, your base, so it would essentially be your day job. But I was raised to also be an entrepreneur too.
So you think that those values were instilled in you when you were young?
Absolutely. So, I mean, even as a paper boy, I was essentially an independent contractor.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I was a paper boy from the age of 10 to 13 and would buy my own newspapers, essentially, would pay the bill at the end of the month, collect money from the clients, the residents, the subscribers. But then me and my mom actually had my first company. It was called Executive Graffiti. And
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Always with the arts. You
hmm
are like an artsy person with photography and graffiti.
Ironically, it wasn't actually graffiti. Like me and my mom weren't like tagging bridges or anything like that.
Oh, no, I know. But it has something
yeah.
to do with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
To it was like
What was it exactly?
so just little sayings that I would come up with as a kid. My mom really encouraged me to try to capitalize on certain things. Like for instance, coffee cups with a whole
Mhm.
bunch of like little dollar bills or $100 bills on the side of it, with this saying, um, instead of "Are you there yet?" or "Are we there yet?" it would say "Are we rich yet?" So
Mm.
selling those on around the neighborhood and stuff, T-shirts, things of that nature. So
Oh,
really
wow.
small things, something
Nice.
relatively
Yeah.
cheap to get into, or
Mhm.
affordable.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Like, yeah,
yeah,
like
quick.
promotional products or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Quick, easy to get, and
Mhm.
yeah, easy for a kid to kind of sell and stuff. So yeah, that was my first company, I guess you could say. It wasn't like an LLC or anything, but
Right.
you're right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But did you have this idea that being an employee, maybe you would never become really like rich out of it, or what was behind the incentive to be an entrepreneur?
I think yeah, controlling my yeses, having that freedom, and just increasing the potential, the income potential.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so am I looking to be rich? No, not necessarily, not at all. Just want to be essentially comfortable, but also have a high quality of, a good quality of life. Um, excuse me. So that I think that's the driving force. Having that flexibility, that having that freedom, and it's all up to me. It's up to me to an extent. A little bit of luck of the industry, and taking advantage of certain opportunities, and being aware of them. Really, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
But I
day
think
job
that,
wasn't going to really get it.
yeah, day job's
No,
not going to get it.
no.
And I think you were mentioning luck, and definitely luck is going to favor those that are there, that showed up, right? They said that 50% of winning is just showing up.
True that.
So it's going to be part of you already being there. The opportunities are going to come with enough consistency, enough time being there. Um, the idea that there will be a big opportunity is always what keeps, I think, entrepreneurs going, or is always in the back of their mind. Do you feel like that's something that drives you?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's almost becomes an addiction, just especially
Hmm.
over the last 4 years it's been, incremental progress. Like first is the real estate agent that calls, I didn't reach out to him. I'm not 100% sure how he found me. I think it was through a Facebook photography group, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm available." And so from that all the way to big construction firms reaching out to me, giving presentations to large construction firms a couple of years ago, where it's just been increased potential. I didn't win
Hmm.
these big jobs, but me and my company starting to be noticed by these larger firms. And then as soon as or as recent as last November, December, where a super large firm reached out and said, "Hey, um, can you submit a proposal, a cost
Hmm.
proposal?" And so I submitted it to them. They called me and they said, you want to revisit your proposal because we think that we need more service than what you're offering. So, not to get into all the details, but essentially, they've accepted my proposal. They looked at me as they provided a good faith effort, basically, a kind of a, like, hey, we are going to use you
Hmm.
if we win that contract. So, this is the biggest opportunity, knock on wood, cross my fingers, send prayers up, the whole nine. This is the biggest opportunity that I've had. It's again opportunity.
Hmm.
Um, in the last 4 years. So
And it's
this is growth to
and
me,
it's so
progress.
awesome because it seems like it's almost like we're always afraid of performance,
Hmm.
especially as you said, when you are the only one responsible.
Yeah,
But here comes your biggest opportunity, the biggest company you worked with, and they're willing to kind of teach you
yeah.
how to like propose better or
Hmm.
with more in depth. And those are the things that sometimes we don't take into consideration. That's like the magic of just having the courage to start something. The things will be easier than what you think, or
Certainly.
you'll have a super lucky, thing happening where you're like, I can't believe that just happened, and they want me and they're going to help me with, what were maybe not your strengths,
Right.
the
Right.
proposals and all that.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, just being there. Being
Hmm.
there. That what was it? Showing up, just fifty
Showing
percent.
up is 50% of winning.
Right. Right. So
And
just
and the
being
winners
available.
want you to win. Some of those winners are going to help you win, right?
Absolutely.
If you create the correct network.
Seriously.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, it's been an effort, and yeah, it's been a learning process, and folks have looked out for me along the way.
I think so. I think
Yeah,
that when someone takes that courage to do something, people that are, that have goodwill around you will kind of help out, because we understand not a whole lot of people have that initiative
Mhm.
and have the courage to start something. Just believe it or not, like look at we've been talking for like 45 minutes.
What?
So what would you say to someone, let's just say a young person, minority or woman, or I'm thinking I need to start a business. I could like hit the double DM, what is it called? DME?
The MBE and the women-owned business
The
and
women and
the whole
Latina.
no.
I would
Right,
hit a
right.
double right there.
Double.
Double. And then I imagine a lot of like grants and a lot of like money also to start the business.
Yeah.
There's so many things that are available to people that really just want to start something. What would you tell that person that is thinking of maybe this year doing something different and starting their own business?
Definitely, I'd say go for it. Go for it. Take a step in that direction. Have a little bit of a plan. You don't have to have it all the way mapped out, especially if it's a low risk plan. If you're not pursuing like big grants and stuff like that, which would require you to have a full on business plan. But I definitely go for it. Put some stuff on paper, put it on your, or type it up or something like that, just so you could get it out of your mind. Get that
Mm-hmm.
idea out of your mind, get it on paper, look at it, see if it makes sense, and just go for it. Don't go broke doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hurt yourself doing it. But just be responsible about starting it. But start it. There's no harm in it at all.
If you
At all.
can't do it now, you can't do it responsibly now. Make sure you have a plan for when you're going to be able to save enough to, start responsibly.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I mean, especially we're speaking to young folks. Say like coming out of high school or something like that. Save a couple of checks. Find out, do all your research, find out how much things are going to cost, how much a license is going to cost, how much it's going to cost to get established as a company and recognized by the state. Finding out those little things so that way you could at least map out all your expenses. You have a financial goal, how much it's going to cost to start it up, and then after that, just go for it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll figure it out, and there's a network, there's a support group out there for entrepreneurs. Folks are going to root you on. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I think you illustrated that
Mm-hmm.
perfectly. Like over the last 4 years, people have tried to help me out. So
Mm-hmm.
fortune favors the bold,
I
and
think
folks
so.
sometimes will root for you.
They will.
Yeah,
Yeah. You'll be exposed to like-minded people too. And I think that when like-minded people get together, there's that special energy of creation, right? Creatives get together and things happen.
for sure, for sure.
All right. Well, this is our first section. Later on, we'll be talking about maybe the drawbacks and the things that you learned, the things that weren't as rosy and positive.
Right.
But thank you for being with us in this first section. We have William Brown with drone aerial,
Plan view drone aerials.
plan view drone aerials,
Yep.
and we'll be back.